Have you ever wished you had the perfect words to use to deal with the narcissist disrespect? That one perfect thing you could say that would stop them dead in their tracks? Well, by the end of this video, you're going to know exactly what to say so the narcissist never, ever even considers coming at you ever again. You ready? Let's do it. Hey friends, welcome back to the channel. If it's your first time here, I'm Tamie M. Joyce, empowerment life coach and creator of the Freedom Class, my signature 8-week transformational coaching program for healing and recovery from codependency and narcissistic abuse. If you're done with painful relationship patterns and you're ready to take your power back, you can learn more about how to work with me by applying for a free one-on-one consultation by clicking on the link in the description below this video. So let me show you some examples of how to handle a narcissist disrespect. You could say, for example, that's an unfortunate choice of words. I'll excuse myself now. And then leave. Simply walk away. Let them sit there with their sorry selves and their disrespect. There's nothing more to say. Or you could say, I don't entertain disrespect. Please speak to me properly or not at all. And then silence, not another word. And if they don't change their tone, refer back to, I'll excuse myself now, and walk away. When they try to justify themselves, because according to them, they're just being honest, simply say, let's not confuse honesty with being rude. And look them straight in the eye when you say it. And whatever you do, do not waver. Another option would be, you're entitled to your opinion, and I don't have to accept it. And again, silence. No matter what they come back with, do not say another word. Remember, there is power in silence when dealing with someone who lands on the spectrum of destructive narcissism. You could also say, I hope you speak more kindly to others. I'll step away now. And then turn on your heel and leave. When the narcissist raises their voice or acts aggressively towards you, simply say, lowering your tone might help us to actually communicate. And if they don't change their tone, revert back to, I hope you speak more kindly to others. I'll step away now. And again, turn on your heel and leave. Another option is, if respect returns, so will the conversation. And then disengage. Do not continue to engage with anyone who feels entitled to belittle, demean, invalidate, or criticize you, no matter who they are or what they say. Shut the conversation down immediately. You could also say, let's pause here. I don't do chaos and drama. And then disengage entirely. Now, if they belittle your ideas or intelligence, simply say, wow, that was unnecessary. I think I'll stick to sharing with people who listen. Or, you're free to see it differently. I stand by what I said. Or, I'm confident in my views. I don't need your validation to hold them. Alternatively, you could say something like, if being dismissive is your style, clearly this isn't going to be a productive conversation. I'm out. When they're sarcastic or passive-aggressive, you be direct. Say something like, is there something you'd like to say to me directly? I'm available for a mature conversation. Or you could say, let's not play games. Speak clearly, or let's not speak at all. And again, not another word. Let them know you're not playing. Another option, I prefer clarity over sarcasm when things matter. And when they say something really hurtful, simply say, if that was meant to provoke me, it won't work. Let's move on now. The thing is, it's important to know your audience. When you're dealing with someone with a destructive narcissist personality pattern, remember that you are actually dealing with an entitled, childish ingrate who lacks boundaries and has very little, if any, empathy. They may even be lacking in conscience entirely, meaning the impact of their attitudes and behavior on you doesn't even register on their radar. They are fundamentally incapable of understanding or caring about the negative and detrimental effect they have on you. In addition, understand that you're dealing with a master manipulator, someone who can and will lie with tremendous ease, someone who will be willing to go to any lengths that you and I cannot even fathom, just to get their way, just to win the right fight, just to be seen as the good guy or girl or the victim to your villain. No matter how appallingly they themselves have behaved, they will always find a way to land on either the hero or the victim side of the story. Therefore, you want to be sure to choose your battles wisely. And I'm going to be straight with you. The truth is, more often than not, it's going to be in your best interest to, as I said, simply not engage whatsoever. Instead, remove yourself if you're able. Do so quietly and stay under the radar. And once you get away, stay away for good. But if for any reason that's not an option for you, or if for any reason you're not quite ready, willing, or able to distance yourself completely, and you're tired of being pushed around by the toxic bully, then here's what you need to know. When it comes to responding to a narcissist's disrespect for maximum effect and impact, remember, what matters is not so much what you say, but how you say it. It's about the posture you embody, the energy you carry, the frequency with which you calibrate. In other words, your emotional intelligence, your sense of self-worth, and your confidence. That matters more than anything else. So with that in mind, the first thing you want to do when sending the narcissist a crystal clear message is to leave all emotion out of it. And I do mean all. And I get that's not easy. It's easier said than done for sure, especially when you're hurting, and especially when you have yet to begin your personal healing and recovery work. Regardless, know that that is the goal. Zero display of emotion, or as close to it as you can get. Do not, under any circumstances, allow yourself to react to their provocations. You want to put your business hat on and deal with them like it's a business transaction, no matter who they are. There is no room for emotion if your goal is to actually communicate in a way that they never even so much as think of disrespecting you moving forward. It's all in the delivery, friends. You want to find a way to stay calm, cool, and collected no matter what it takes. Make a conscious effort to focus on your breath. Stay in your body and remain completely non-reactive. In other words, underreact to the best of your ability. No matter how much of a performance you have to muster, you can do this. You can react and vent and do whatever it is you need to do to express your very legitimate hurt, anger, and frustration later on, when you're by yourself or with a trusted friend, a safe person, someone in your support system who gets it. Again, if you want to communicate in a way that sends a very clear message to the narcissist, then this is vital. You are going to have to find a way to remain calm, cold even, completely detached, demonstrating as little emotion as possible. Now, comment below and let me know whether or not this video is helpful. Let me know in the comment section below. Also, if you'd like to learn more about working with me in one of my coaching programs, there's a link in the description below this video where you can apply to see if you qualify for a free one-on-one consultation with either myself or a member of my team. Next, think counterintuitive. Forget reasoning with this person. Forget being heard, understood, getting through to them, or getting your needs met. It's not going to happen. You have to remember that when it comes to people who land on the spectrum of destructive narcissism, you're not dealing with a reasonable, rational adult. Rather, you're dealing with a wounded toddler in an adult body, pretending to be an adult. You're dealing with an entitled, childish ingrate who feels entitled to hurt you deeply and then blame you for the hurt they cause. You're dealing with someone who is running their own agenda, and that agenda does not include working things out with you in a mutually beneficial and healthy way. Quite the opposite, actually. Furthermore, you're dealing with someone who is going to be willing to do and say whatever it takes to provoke you, to win the right fight, to manipulate you into getting their way, to make you wrong, bad, or the issue somehow, and more than anything, take the heat off themselves. They'll also go to great lengths to manipulate the perceptions of others and to manipulate outcomes. And if they're resentful and motivated enough, they're going to be willing to go to any lengths necessary to seek revenge. And that's probably the last thing you need. The truth is, because narcissists lack a fundamental moral compass, a conscience, and empathy, they will go to lengths that, again, you and I couldn't even conceive of. They don't have the same emotional response to their shocking attitudes and behavior, which is why they can often be so shocking to us. They do and say all the things. They contrive situations and circumstances. They manipulate and play games, leaving great, big, huge chunks of the truth out of the equation entirely. So, my point being, forget showing up with your big heart and all that love that you carry and all that empathy. That is who you are. It's not who they are. Forget trying to become a better communicator, more understanding, patient, tolerant, and long-suffering. Forget all of that. Forget showing up with what you would normally show up with in a discussion with a reasonably sane and healthy adult. Forget bringing that to the table with the destructive narcissist. You're not dealing with a reasonably sane and rational adult. So everything that you would normally bring to the table of that conversation with a reasonable, sane, rational, and healthy person isn't actually going to work with the narcissist. So forget all of that. What you want to do instead is the exact opposite. That's what I mean by think counterintuitive. Now, some other options to effectively communicate with a narcissist and in a way that sends a very clear message is, when they say something disrespectful, simply say, "Could you repeat that, please?" And when they do, then say, "Yeah, I thought that's what I heard." And then silence. Not another word. Alternatively, you could say, "You know how ridiculous you sound right now, right?" And leave it at that. One of my favorites, when they feel entitled to criticize, diminish, or demean, not least by offering unsolicited advice or opinions, is to simply say, "That's odd. I don't remember asking for your opinion." And silence. While maintaining eye contact, hold their gaze and let what you've just said land. Then turn on your heel and leave. Now, obviously, this isn't going to endear you to the narcissist, and it will probably put a target on your back. But it will also send a very clear message. And the message being, I am not someone you want to mess with. Period. Now, with all of that said, another option, of course, will be to simply go for silence right out of the gate, right from the get-go. And I don't mean in a passive-aggressive and highly manipulative way like a covert narcissist would. That's not what I mean. I mean in a way that says, with absolute clarity and conviction, that I am boundaried. I am not easy prey. I am not a good target. And again, your posture, the energy you carry, matters more than anything. This is all about going silent in a way that communicates that you are bulletproof, unshakable, and not at all interested, affected, or phased. Bulletproof. What you're shooting for here is to diffuse what would otherwise be, at the very least, a disagreeable and incredibly draining conversation. So, that being said, you're not looking to antagonize, provoke, or make things worse. You're looking to turn the volume down on the insanity to the best of your ability, but without acquiescing to the narcissist and certainly without becoming a source of narcissistic supply. Now, here's the thing about that. You can't be responsible for how the narcissist chooses to show up, how they react, how they behave. Just keep in mind that your goal is to diffuse the situation, or at the very least, not make it worse, while also not acquiescing, submitting, and therefore selling your soul just to keep the peace at all costs. You want to walk away with your dignity, integrity, and self-respect fully intact. Remember, they're looking to trigger an emotional reaction in you. So be prepared to say things like, fine, you're entitled to think that, or you're entitled to see it that way, or you're entitled to feel that way. I've had a different experience. I'm okay if you don't see it the way I do. I can live with that. And when you say any of these things, followed by silence, always. When you do that, when you refuse to engage, when you refuse to allow yourself to get sucked into the narcissist's toxic vortex or take on any of their BS, they are quite literally starved of the energetic supply that they feed off of. And it doesn't take very long before they realize you are not going to be a good or reliable source for them. There is no intense emotional energy to feed off of here. The bottom line is, the absolute best way to deal with a narcissist's disrespect is to learn to manage your own energy field by taking excellent care of yourself. Learn to manage what's going on within you by doing your personal healing and recovery work. Don't be emotional, sarcastic, or reactive. Keep your ego out of it and stay calm and strong, grounded and clear, while refusing to give your power away. And I'm not saying this is always going to be easy to do, but with enough practice and with enough healing and recovery under your belt, and with the right support system in place, you can get there. It's time now. And with that, I'm going to call it a wrap. But don't stop now. I have well over 300 more videos right here on YouTube for you to watch to help you better understand the detrimental effects of narcissistic abuse, and more importantly, learn what you need to do now to heal from the abuse so you can start living your best life in peace, confidence, freedom, and abundance. And if you want to go deeper with me, go to TamieMCoaching.com and learn about my unique, tried and true process garnered over decades of experience, and learn how you can become my client.